I'm here today. In fact, let me begin by saying what our topic is today. Our topic is 3 keys to ignite the magnet, connecting your dreams and desires. Those 3 keys are purpose, process, and a timetable. That's 3 keys to ignite the magnet connecting your dreams and your desires. And those 3 keys are purpose, process, and a timetable. The potency and the power of this topic is spreading like the ripples on a pond. I'm very pleased that our Brother Webb, has been listening and seeing the value and futility and the value and the significance of our topic this week. Yesterday, I had the privilege of seeing Minister Louis Farrakhan 2 times speak to 2 separate groups in one day with only a 20 to 30 minute gap between one group and another. The first time he spoke for 2 hours, the next time he spoke for approximately an hour and 40 to 45 minutes. It was fantastic. He was impeccably good. I was intimately and deeply humbled. And let me share with you some of the reasons I was humbled by his presentation. First of all, I met Minister Farrakhan for the first time when I was 21 years old, back in 1977. Then I met him again in 1978. I left the country and I met him in February of 78. I left the country in August of 78. And upon that journey to Africa for the next 3 years, I stayed in correspondence with Minister Farrakhan. And then by 1981, I had a meeting with him in person about that experience and about the impact I wanted to have on Black lives. And he said to me, there's a wide awakened field, an ocean out there for the wide awakened Black man. And as I begin to journey, I begin to study, communicate, teach, listen, learn, meet with him, sit up with him, watch him to try to grow to a higher level. Now, let's fast forward this 30 years later. I see him yesterday. Had not seen him in person for maybe 8 years. And I was stunned at his brilliance, shocked by his mind, and awed by the retention he had to teach the message. And let me tell you what shocked me. One was he taught a young group of the hip hop generation for 2 hours. This age group, I'll say, ranged from 20s, 30s to early 40s. And then he spoke to politicians, organizers, community leaders, clergy, and people of significance in the community, leadership in the community in vast and diverse ways. He did that for an hour and a half. And both speeches were markedly different. This brother had a retention capacity that was awesome. At 82 years old, I could only be just stunned at the brilliance and the capacity of his mind. And after having studied under him and learned from him for over 30 years, I still felt very young and very developing because of what he did and how I saw myself relative to the impact he is having. But the piece that really stood out in my heart the most is with all of these community leaders present, with all of these politicians present, with all of these clergy and members of the ecumenical community present, after they were stunned, opened up, taught, compelled to be reflective of, and challenged to change, they left without any commitments. They left without any pledge. They left without any method or technique to keep them together so that that unit and that teaching pulls the community, pulls the people, and pulls that receptivity to a higher level. In the same way that a person trying to get off alcohol goes to AA, in the same way that a person on cocaine who's trying to get off on CA, which is Cocaine Anonymous, we miss the opportunity to take this group and get them into UA, Unity Anonymous, because that was needed to retain that energy. That's what was needed to enhance that pledge on the inside of their minds to be better. That is what was missing to take the community to another level. That's what we missed. Now the question becomes, why did we miss it? How did we miss it? Why are we continuously missing it? What's causing us to not grow to another level? The secret is in this week's topic. 3 keys to ignite the magnet connecting our dreams and desires. Purpose, process, and a timetable. You see, if we would have had a long-term purpose for that group, we would have made sure that a pledge was made to that group that we will never let this unity, never let this congregation, never let this energy, and never let this vibration fragment and dissipate into a bunch of individuals in their own enclaves again. We would have gotten their names. We would have had a pledge sheet. We would have organized them. We would have compelled them to speak to 5 people in here they don't know. We would have compelled them to hand out cards and really come out of the shell of their individualism. That's the first thing we would have done. The second thing we would have done is pledge for the group to reconvene so that we can make a unified purpose, process, and a timetable to accomplish as a group. Because what would it have done for the individuals in the group? What would it have done for their organizations? And what would it have done for the community? First of all, it would have stimulated a mutual agreement to become strong. Because out of all of this talent, the challenge is to produce a harmony, not a discord, as well as a purpose to move forward. We would have produced a commitment to collectively beginning to challenge the financial dilemmas and needs that exist in our community. We would have been able to say, let's reclaim the education of our children and begin to discuss how we, in the educated community, in the successful community, in the ecumenical community, in the political community, could stop taking our brilliance and our babies to white people to educate them. We can then begin to talk about how we will be a mirror reflection of a purpose and a direction for our youth. We can begin to discuss the methods and techniques we will use to repopulate our community with healthy men. We can begin to develop the statistical capacity to determine the rate that we're losing our men and the impact it's having on our community. We could then begin to put pressure on a system, on a state, on legislation, and politicians also to leverage rehabilitation for our men who are incarcerated. Those are some of the things we could be able to do as a unified group. And in doing that, we can then begin to reclaim our youth reclaim our men, and then build and fortify our community, because health is being injected where absence and vulnerability runs pervasive. We can then begin to move into a process of protecting our babies, protecting our women, and protecting our men from random killing of people who not only hate us in law enforcement, do not give us justice in a legal system, but the pythons and the venomous members of our community that kill each other. These are the capacities. These are the attributes. These are the goals that we can begin to set incrementally from very small to very big. And then we become a symbol for municipalities and organization of leadership across the country. You want wealth? Well, now we've got the ability to develop wealth for ourselves, for our organizations, and our communities, because we can begin to span across the country, teaching, organizing, training, elevating, developing regional policy, developing a national policy, developing a mutual agreement in the Black community of our strength, our capacity, our commitment, and our potency to leverage our resources, our human resources, our informational resources, and our financial resources to get the justice we deserve, to get the protection we deserve, to get the legal redress of grievance that we deserve. We begin to now have the capacity. And then we can take Claude Anderson from the right and George Frazier from the left and put them with Brother Minister in the center. And now we've got a financial base, a process, a purpose, and a timetable to gain control of the economics of our community, the development of our people, and the transformation of our rank and status globally. We can do it. We've got the capacity, and we have the vision once we commit to saying three things. I'm in, I'm down, let's multiply. Let us say that to each other. I'm in, I'm down, let's multiply. And when we do that, I'm in, I'm down, let's multiply, we begin to recreate a world, recreate a vision, recreate a capacity, and recreate an energy that becomes magnanimous. And then they begin to follow us because we've gotten control of the economics of our community. We've gotten control of the protection of our community. We are now building and fortifying our community. We are elevating Black women. We're restoring the pride and the melanin and blackness in our skin, and we're reclaiming the education of our youth. And when we do that, we can now energize our community and Black men, restore our community and Black men, heal our community and Black men, and unite our community and Black men. So now when we look at Martin Luther King and the real Dr. King, as Brother Farrakhan has said, over the last 2 to 3 years of his life, we won't be looking at "we shall overcome," because now we will be overcoming what we need to overcome: our weakness, our envy, our jealousy, and our strife one against the other. We will overcome what? Our pompous proudness that makes you and I want to be the master of the masses than the servant of the masses. See, it's a creeping poison from this world that puffs us up. Our commitment will be to restore the culture in our community. Our commitment will be to restore the values in our community. Our commitment will be to give direction to our babies so they don't let the entertainment industry define what is healthy, what is wise, what is sex, what is relationship. We will have reclaimed the values. We will have reclaimed the culture. We will begin to reclaim the vision of restoring not only melanin pride, but African pride in Black people who love themselves and their Blackness. That's what we can do. And when we do that, the world will follow us. Follow us to where we need to go. Follow us to what we're going to be, and follow us in the acquisition, the claiming, and the reconfiscation of our lives, our land, our money, our people, and our health. That's who we are. That's what we can do. And this is where we can create, become, and now elevate. And then the teachings will rise to manifestation. Let's manifest what we hear. Let's manifest what we agree to. Let's manifest what we applaud to so it becomes the reality and the conversion of what you know, what you agree to, what you've taught, and now what you live. Let's live it. Let's be it. Let's become it so that our babies don't have to walk in fear and die at the hands, like Trayvon Martin and so many others, at the hands of people who don't love us, don't like us, don't look like us, and live to kill us. We can correct that, we can do that, and we can become that. Strength refortified in Black men. Let's get away from the emotional, psychological, and spiritual impotence that this society has created and put on us, that we poison our kids and our community with the same things that have been fed to us. We have it. Let's use it the way it needs to be and not be afraid of the potency of our power. Brother Tambuzi saying, let's get it. That's what will magnetize our dreams and desires. That's what will connect our dreams and desires. Let's put that purpose, put that process, and get that timetable, and don't be afraid of the cost. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to this becoming manifested into our reality. Peace. Wow.